So this is the Relentless BeFitNow from Canada, USA, and comes in literally almost a car-sized crate, and your accessories and stuff come palletized differently. When you open this up, it's just a big old crate full of stuff, wrapped in stuff. There are no clear instructions on how to put something together. So we got the looking at it right side, and we believe this is the middle that's going to go in the back per these instructions. This is the exploded view instructions how to put together. So there's no step-by-step. Once we figure it out, I'll make another video of, okay, this is how we assembled this. And they're marked with these little numbers, but they don't seem to make any sense because some of them have 2 stickers on them with different numbers. So we're just having to unpack everything, use the exploded view, and try to put it together. But with some basic wrenching and putting the pieces together via this, it should come together and look like that. Okay, so the first pieces we're putting together is this base. Now, if you look down here, right there, you can see that foot base bolts to the back of that using an Allen key. I just happen to have an Allen key wrench. Don't wrench it down all the way tight. Keep it a little bit loose so you can fit the other ones in. Then once you get them both in good, you can snug it up. So that's our first piece. So you'll find these pieces and marry them. Find this vertical piece, and that should bolt to the top of that. Number 3 should go to number 8. Number 4 should go to 8. And these are not labeled. There's no number on them that says, oh, this is this or whatever. And these little numbers, like what screws and bolts you use, and it says 50, 60, 59, none of the hardware is labeled. So using your best judgment, I used the shorter of the Allens since they didn't need to be super long. So that was the first piece that went together, and we'll put the next piece together in a second. Okay, now we're connecting this piece to this side piece here using the long bolts. They're going to thread through the outside like this, go all the way through this, and connect right in there. There should be some lock washers or nutserts or threaded pieces in there. You can see how the bolts are coming through. On the side here, this is the other side. This is where they would screw in. So as she adjusts that, and you get it in close, you may have to kick it over a little bit and get those threaded. It will eventually look just like that once she gets it threaded properly. Likewise, the other half will bolt down there. I'll be back whenever we get it connected. Okay, so we've got this other half mostly tightened up, and as you can see, this is our exercise machine. Let me just zoom out, give you a wide angle view. Now, you'll have a center post there that connects here. So you can see, if I hold this, and you can pause it right there, how that goes together. Long bolts attached to that piece, and that T-junction, you can see how that goes together on both sides. The next part will be to assemble the vertical in the back and this T-junction up here, along with this pull-up bar, and that will all go at the top. And I don't have millimeters for the Allen key bolts. They don't use regular bolts, they're Allen keys. But I will tell you, they're not in freedom units. It's in metric. So make sure you have a set of metric socket Allen keys, because all I had was a standard, and I had to pull out my toolbox for the metric stuff. So I'll be back in just a bit. It does take a little while to fish the holes because the unit is so heavy. Maybe there's a better way of doing it, but this is how we did it. Okay, so once you put this vertical piece here, and you've got these two big flange pieces that attach to the top and attach here. There's two pieces, 1 and 2. Once you attach the bottom corner pieces, be cautious because your bottom corner pieces are so easily cross-threaded. So we ran into a cross-threaded hole we're going to have to try to fix that we've messed up. There's probably an easier way to do it, but we just didn't do it that way. But so far, this is the progress. 2 verticals, the horizontal, those 2 pieces up there. And you can see on the instructions how they go together. And they use the short bolts, washers and lock washers. So, and the instructions is just an exploded view of the gem. There's no put this here, push this there. You kind of have to figure it out. So, as far as I know, there's no assembly video on how to put this together, this gem. So we're doing it by trial and error, and then updating the video as we can. So that's that part. I'll be back. All right, so it's very loud because of our fan, obviously, but you can see we have the vertical forward chin-up bar piece on, and we found out we didn't cross-thread these. It just there was a real booger to get those ones down there. So now we're getting ready to hang the piece that comes across this way. So you can see that piece right there. We're about to hang that one with the 3 pulleys. We just did the chin-up bar, and he uses a small bolt. Now, he uses metric, so no instructions, but if you follow the exploded view, it kind of slides together. Best of luck, but we'll try to help you step by step. And make sure you leave the bolts a little loose as you go, so that way you can tighten them up later after everything's kind of together. Okay, it is the day 2. We got kind of tired of messing with it, so we left it down to where we had to install these handy dandy pulleys. Now the instructions are pretty straightforward as to the routing, and you can see it's like that. But the issue is you have to start here, run down, across, and up the center of this pole, and the cable comes out through here. So the way we did this is we just took a piece of yarn, two washers tied to the yarn, and we just threaded it down, and it went all the way down to the bottom. But we found that we couldn't actually reach the washers because there's a pulley right there, right before it goes up the shaft. So you have to remove that pulley, and you have to remove this pulley. The plates on the outside are more or less like welded in place, but the centerpiece here, that comes out. Just take this bolt out and grab the pulley and pull it this way. That gives you room to pull it up through here like this, staying to this side of these bolts, weighted down with those washers. So you lower it down. I use the pulley as a guide before I let it roll over the pulley, and then I remove the pulley later. And it basically hung down this back edge all the way down. Then once we got it down, we cut the washers loose and tied this end. Now you're saying, how did you get this end in there? Well, if you don't see, there's a little ball in there. all of this, when you take this bolt out, comes loose and slides off, and it's just a shaft with a little nut on the end, well, little ball bearing. That will feed through, you know, it comes down from here across, and then you tie the yarn, and with the second person kind of pushing, feeding the cable, the other person is pulling up. It goes up, and then that's when we realized we needed to remove this pulley, because it won't, with the yarn and stuff attached, it was having a hard time coming up around the pulley. So what we did was we removed the pulley and actually fed it up through here, and then reinstalled the pulley, pushing the pulley against this. And at the same time, we then pushed that pulley into place and re-secured it. Then, just like the instructions, it goes straight down through this hole, down and around here, up and through this hole, across the top, down, and then this is the side profile. It comes to the back and then down like this. And then we just had to remember how this went back together. We used the other one to go to the other side as an example. And now, and we went ahead and did a test pull and pinned each one, and it works perfectly. We have not done the back one yet. That's not set in place. But as you can see, we're now feeding this cable down through here and through that pulley. And if the yarn has already been let down, which, as you can see, the yarn has been let down, and you can see I've already taken the hardware off of this pulley. Slides right out. Set it to the side. Here's the hardware. These are secured in place. They don't move. Once she ties the end of this little ball, you should have taken the washers off, Pete.
Just wait. I had it earlier, and then I realized I had to get it through there.
We cut the washers loose and then tie it to the end of that. I'll pause for just a second. All right, we opted to leave the washer on there. Hopefully it won't bind. It doesn't want to come up. And it looks like the washers are causing it to bind up. Well, maybe not. Now, originally I had my pulley in place before, but, and then sorry for the shaky video, but as we come up, there it is. Comes straight up and over. Now, what we can do is we pull a little slack on it, and we can take all of that stuff loose. She left the washers in place, but should have cut them loose. It makes it a little easier. It doesn't bind quite as bad. But just regular old yarn, and no problem.
I'm gonna untie it because I tied it funny.
All right, so you see no piece there. And what we'll do is I'll go ahead and, can you hold this, Pete? Yeah. It's terrible footage. So this piece, this cable will now, because it's come up this way, it's going to roll over the top of that pulley. It's going to roll over the top of this pulley. Remember, it's got to go behind this plate. So just push it, and it should slide down just like that. And it's going to stick out the first hole. Now we'll stop there, and then what we'll do is I'll line up my pulley on the cable like this, and then take my pulley and work it into place, just like that. Take my hardware, which has a washer on both sides, feed it through, and tighten it. And then we'll tighten it with the tool. We'll do the same thing at the bottom, where the pulley will be reinstalled. Okay, so the back cabling that runs to these weight stack in the back, I thought it was a little weird, but the cable runs up here across the top of this pulley, runs across there, then comes down. Inside you've got this double pulley system. This cable that comes down turns and goes right back up again. Goes across to there and down to your T-bar. Okay? In order to get this cable through here, you've got to take out the pulley. Now you've got a cable that runs from the plate down here. It comes up to the bottom pulley. Take this pulley out, roll up put the cable through there, and then slide the pulley back in. Put the bolt in. It will come down and go to the bottom of this one. And your attachment point is this side for doing your rowing, your type exercises. And so you can see how that, if I were to pull this down like this, the pulley doesn't move, but the weights do. Okay? Same with that. It simply ties it into this so that whenever you're pulling here, that's gonna rise to the surface, and then it's gonna pull. Look, that's, I don't know, that doesn't make any sense because I don't know how to explain it, but the routing of the cable, for a second, it took me a second to look at the picture. Up and over, down and around, up and over, and down, and it goes through that little hole right up there, and attached here. You'll have to take off this black piece. It's real easy. Just all of the pieces where it connects like this. You can compare them to make sure you put it back together right. Same with this one. Take off that black piece, and it'll start down there. Cable comes up, rolls over the pulley, goes down through there and out to that side. And of course, once you do that, you now have your lat pull down machine. So, and of course, you can see before, when we had that cable running up here, we ran it down, up, through the hole, across the top of that pulley, switching sides, down through this hole, that hole there, and it slides, goes to the back of this pulley, front of this pulley, down and out. Here's where your accessory would work. And so you can see how the picture's pretty self-explanatory, but it took some scratching of our heads. So, of course, this bar comes assembled with the leg press that's attached to it. You have to take the leg press off, and you more or less slide it through further and then back, so that you'll get it in there and hook it. What you got to do is connect it right here. A bolt here and a bolt here. I need to snug this one up, but that bolt and that bolt, and attaches to this pulley system that has a counterweight in it that runs across the top and through this main beam. Thankfully, they attach and assemble that all for you, so you don't have to mess with it. But when you pick it up, it's lightweight. I'm doing that with one hand, so that the weight you put on the bar is there. The counter adjustments make the bar feel lighter than it is. So whatever weight you put on it is more or less what you're benching, not plus a 45-pound bar, like my extra bar back here is a 45-pound bar. So you got your chin up stuff, and so all these attachments and stuff come with it. They come off just like that. The only shame is all of these holes are drilled to a metric size because it's made in Canada. It's a Canadian product. Well, that means that an American built accessory may not bolt in here unless you drill the hole out bigger or make your pin smaller, which that's a shame, but not so bad. But it's all put together. You have a place for 2 extra barbells. I bought one, and we have a bench we're assembling inside the regular house. This is out in our garage, and it's absolutely trash because of all of the debris and things and stuff. But we do a ton of barbecuing and we do a ton of weightlifting. So this new machine will be our go-to now that we've settled into where we live. And the next thing we'll do is get a set of dumbbells and all that. So that should do it for this video. After we get some more accessories on, we might show you those, but that's the basics. It's not super hard to put together. Some basic knowledge of tooling is required. Like, do you know what a wrench is, a socket is, you know, an Allen key? Most people do, some people don't. But the hardest part is the assembly of the big structure. It's very heavy, and I had just me, my wife, and 2 daughters helping, and we really struggled, especially with the bottom plate, because all of these side panels are so heavy. Getting the bolt holes to line up was a dog. But once you get the heavy work done, it's just a matter of threading these cables and following the instructions. And it's just an exploded parts view. And I guessed on the hardware because I had extra hardware left over. I don't know where most of this stuff would have went to. And little small things that maybe you can attach later, but I don't have them maybe. So if I learn that I should have attached something somewhere else, I'll put another video out. But that's it. I know I'm very, very close to this. Let me get a little further out. And that's it. It takes up a good 20% of my garage in floor space, exactly floor space. But if you want to talk about how much space you actually need to use it, you need to extend it out by, you know, at least 18 inches or 2 feet on every side to really appreciate the machine and be able to walk around it. So that's the way we did it. We put plenty of space behind it for putting accessories, and made enough space on those sides to walk through. So it's not quite in the middle of the garage, but it leaves storage over here. My big Jeep tires and my root beer kegs and tools and storage and stuff. All right, that's all I got for you. Hope this was informative. I'm sure it will be as confusing and clear as mud as it was for me, but hopefully it does help a little.